Hey guys, Justin with AmericanMuscle.com here with my detailed review of the Trufiber carbon fiber rear spoiler with removable gurney flap fitting your 2015 and up fastback Mustang. In this video, I'm going to talk about what you can expect when it comes to the construction of the Trufiber spoiler here, what it's going to do to your S550 in regards to styling, and then finally what it takes to get this thing installed. Now honestly guys, the install is going to vary slightly depending on your setup. If you already have a factory spoiler installed or another aftermarket spoiler, well, this is going to be a 1 out of 3 wrench job with no drilling required whatsoever. On the other hand, if you do not have a factory spoiler installed, there is the smallest amount of drilling necessary here, so we'll pump it up to a 2 out of 3 on the difficulty meter, but either way we'll have a little bit more detail on that later on. So this spoiler from Trufiber is definitely going to appeal to the S550 owners out there who want a super unique and very aggressive rear spoiler for his or her hardtop V6, GT, or EcoBoost, and doesn't mind throwing down a good amount of money to get that aggressive look. Now this is also going to appeal to those owners out there who just love the look of carbon fiber and want something a little unique in the fact that it's going to offer this removable gurney flap here, similar to what you would find with the 13 and 14 Shelby GT500s. Anyone that knows Trufiber knows that they make some pretty baller stuff, usually consisting of carbon fiber, of course. Their stuff is going to look and fit great, and because of all this, usually carries a pretty steep price tag. And honestly, this particular spoiler is going to check all those boxes. As for the basic construction here with this spoiler, guys, you're going to be looking at a vacuum-infused carbon fiber weave here, more specifically a 3K 2x2 carbon fiber weave, which has been finished off with a very nice resin, polished, of course, to a beautiful shine, and that resin does include some UV protection, so you don't have to worry about this thing fading over the years or getting all chalky on you, which is the case a lot of times with some lesser quality carbon fiber goodies. Now, I do want to point out just the amount of quality here with the Trufiber spoiler option. The pattern or the weave of this particular spoiler is very consistent. There's no odd spots or anything like that. And even taking that a step further, the removable gurney matches the same pattern or twill or weave, whatever you want to call it, as the rest of the spoiler here, which is just really nice. Again, with those lesser quality spoilers, you might see a few odd spots with the weave itself. Definitely not the case here, and again, they do finish it off with that resin, and then they just buff the hell out of this thing because it looks really sharp, and again, just a kind of quality you do come to expect from a brand like Trufiber. Trufiber does state that this spoiler is paintable, but I don't know who in their right mind would actually want to paint this thing because, again, it's a work of art, and when you're dropping this kind of dough on an aftermarket spoiler, especially a carbon fiber spoiler, again, you'd kind of be silly to cover it up with paint. That being said, Trufiber does offer a fiberglass version of nearly the same exact spoiler here with the removable gurney flap that you can find on the site. So if you're thinking paint is the option for you as opposed to the carbon fiber, definitely check that out. You'll save yourself some money in the process. Now, speaking of price, again, the Trufiber version here, very baller, and it will tax you for just over 600 bucks, which again, at this time makes it far and away the most expensive spoiler currently on the site. As far as styling, the Trufiber option is definitely going to be a very aggressive, in-your-face type of spoiler. Probably not the best option for the less is more crowd. Now, I do like this thing for a few different reasons. First and foremost, it resembles kind of a ducktail type of spoiler, which to me, I think looks really good on the modern S550. Just something about the steep angle that works really well at the back of those cars. Secondly, I just really like the idea of this gurney flap, guys. Now, overall, it makes a relatively small impact to the spoiler overall, but it does make an impact just the same. Personally, I would leave it installed at all times, even though it really just adds a little bit more to the spoiler. I think it looks better when installed, but again, that's totally up to you, and it is nice that you have that option. You could even take that a step further and even have that gurney flap painted the same color as your car for a little bit more of a custom look if you wanted. As far as the install is concerned, well, like we mentioned earlier, guys, it can go down one of two different ways. Now, if you have a factory spoiler already installed or maybe even an aftermarket spoiler installed, you'll be happy to know that the Trufiber will install using the existing holes, making for no drilling whatsoever. You'll obviously need to get that factory spoiler out of the way first, which honestly can be a little bit of a pain in the you-know-what because they use a ton of 3M tape on that thing. So take my advice, use a heat gun, get a plastic non-marring panel removal tool, and just pack your patience. On the other hand, if you do not have a factory spoiler installed, there will be the smallest amount of drilling necessary here, which isn't too bad, but it will increase the level of difficulty with your install. Luckily for you guys, Trufiber does include a very nice template, which should help you out along the way. Other than that, guys, you're looking at a combination of screws and 3M tape to basically get this thing installed, and that drill if you do need to drill, of course. So we'll call it 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty scale. If you do not have to drill, we'll bump that up to a 2 out of 3 if you do have to drill. Either way, you're looking at an hour or 2 from start to finish to get this thing installed. At the end of the day, I really enjoy the build and look of the Trufiber spoiler, especially when installed, even though the price might be a little hard to swallow for some folks out there, and that's totally understandable. Either way, if you do decide to go this route, just know you're going to be getting a beautiful, really well-built spoiler, and you can grab yours right here at AmericanMuscle.com.